Meet Tony Draper, salesman extraordinaire for Synthetic Lubricants. This guy knows coolants better than anyone I've ever met, and I've met a lot of people. We invited Tony to come and visit a customer of ours in Zeeland, Michigan to give us all a better understanding of how to properly care for bandsaw coolant and ultimately extend the life of bandsaw blades.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just go there. That's where we use this coolant. Here, and I'll introduce you to Dave, my saw guy. He's a great guy.
Just remember, my tiny bald head's gonna throw everything on.
All right, so this is Tony. Tony, have you met Dave yet?
Hey, yeah, Tony. He's the coolant master. I've done it a while. If there's a way for me to be able to help you guys extend the life of your coolant and your bandsaw blade, I feel like I'm doing a good job for everybody. The coolant should be changed out at least twice a year. I mean, I'm talking about emptying the whole machine, clean the machine out, and then re-add. The reason being is because water evaporates, okay? But the minerals stay in the solution, which makes the water really, really hard, okay? So if you keep adding to with the evaporation, you've made your water solution very hard. The hardness of the metalworking fluid can actually separate the chemistry.
How often do you clean out that sump?
Yeah, the best methods for cleaning the sump would be to drain the machine completely. If there's any contamination or bacterial problems or fungal problems, you'll have to pull those off. And in that case, you're going to have to bleach. Fungal activity grows from the inside out, so when you treat it, you're going to have to go back in 2 weeks and treat it again. And then 2 more weeks and treat it again. Bacteria, on the other hand, could be black, could be gray, could be white. You just don't know. You'll know by the smell. Why is that a big deal? Well, it's a big deal because dermal issues happen when you have this type of bacteria getting in your skin and your scratches and so forth. Synthetic Lubricants actually has a product called Extreme Clean that you run for a couple hours. It chemically surrounds the oil molecules and gets rid of them. It really helps in making sure the machine is free of contamination, free of oils and so forth. After you run it for a few hours, then you drain that out. Then you add the new coolant in. The best thing to do would be to clean the machine out, like we were talking about every 3 to 6 months. Fluids break down, solutions can separate. The longer you go in between the intervals of cleaning the machine out completely, the more issues you're going to have with bacteria. Having a proper maintenance schedule is critical to have prolonged life of the coolant. We're going to use this to check the mix ratio of the coolant that we're using right now. So we're at 4.6. 5 to 1 is a 6. And to be honest with you, I'd love it if you were a 10 to 1 there. Really? Yeah. Your makeup solution should be the 10 to 1. Okay. Just to replace the water with crap. Okay. If you don't have a refractometer, then try that pre-diluted stuff in a bucket. Add the 10 to 1 mix ratio. Then when you do need to add, you just add it in. Okay? But I gotta stress, man, having one of these is the best way to go. What's the benefit of having a refractometer? You can measure the amount of solids that are in the water that you're using any time of the day. Just go grab some, put it in the refractometer, take a look at it. Okay, I'm at a 3. Then you can determine, do I need to add a little more water with the metalworking fluid, or do I need to add more metalworking fluid in a smaller amount of water to get back to my 3.5 or whatever. Water evaporates. The guts of the coolant does not evaporate, okay? So if you're at a 10-to-1 mix ratio, with the evaporation, it goes down to a richer state, a 5-to-1, a 3-to-1. I mean, it's a good question of how far it goes. Let's just say pre-mix a pail and have that at like a 15-to-1 mix ratio, because you're replenishing the water that's evaporating. That's another general rule of thumb. You always want to add a little bit more water into the mix ratio because of the evaporation. You don't want to have it run too lean,
No.
because your bandsaw blade life is going to be reduced. But you don't need to run it so rich that you're wasting your money. Refractometers measure the amount of solids in water, how much light can pass through fluids. This is the older style where the liquid is actually put on the surface here, close this down, look through this part of the refractometer to give you the indication in a numerical index. Calibrating a refractometer is critical to the water that you're using in the machine. Don't use DI water, because you're not using DI water in the machine. If you're using DI water in the machine, then you do calibrate with that. This part here is a little dial that you use to calibrate these things. There's a blue field and a white field. The blue field and white field have to meet right at 0. If it's not at 0, you have to, loosen this, adjust this to where it is actually where the blue and white field meet at 0. Then you just lock it in. Now it's calibrated. Now you can test your metalworking fluid. That is this one. Okay? These ones are digital. These ones are easier to read, especially for old eyes like mine. You go through the same process. You have to 0 this in. So you add the water, you hit the 0 button. As 0 as this machine to the water that you're using. Then you test with the fluids and so forth. I like these more so than those because you get an exact number. There's no blurriness in between them. These are expensive. These are not expensive. These are vitally important to prolong the life of your metalworking fluids.
What's he gonna do now? Is he gonna drain it? Okay.
Your makeup solution should be 10-to-1. So, but if this is totally empty, let's get you at the 5-to-1. So we need one gallon to a bucket. This being a synthetic, it doesn't matter if you had this first or last. So we can put this in the bucket first, and then fill it up to this line. That's 5 gallons right there. Yeah, it's unreal.
All right, let's do it. You've done that before. I can tell. Kind of looks like a blue smoothie or a Mountain Dew. Yeah, the new Sunkist flavor. You ever tried that yet?
No, I didn't even know they had it.
Everybody says it's the best.
Oh, do I like that? That's great.
So what are you doing right now? Just kind of mixing it with...
We're letting it mix with what's in the sump,
Okay.
going all the way through.
It'll give you a true refractive index. 5-to-1 should be about 6, right?
I'm gonna guesstimate 7. Oh, really?
So you're right on board. It should be a 6,
Yep.
but because of the amount of the other solids that were down in the salt, well, you are at your 5-to-1.
Yeah.
Right now.
Not bad.
You're good. You're good to call.
Great. That's what I did. I mean, not that it's my job or anything, but yes, sir.
As far as metalworking fluids, the longevity of really is dependent on your maintenance schedule. If there are downside to using a metalworking fluid, yes, when you don't have a maintenance schedule, things can get ugly fast. The maintenance is key. The checking the ratio is key. Making sure that the sump is clean when you add the new coolant in.
That's what I'm gathering from this whole thing is that I'm now knowing that we need to create a maintenance schedule for our fleet.
Don't ever mix Joe blows coolant with Joe sucks coolant. It's not a good idea. The idea is to have one coolant do everything. That's a great idea. Doesn't always work that way. The ideal situation is to have somebody locally to help you. We've been working hand in hand with Purity Cylinder Gas for years. They've got multiple locations. Each one of their salespeople can help you definitely with any of your questions with the metalworking fluids.
I appreciate all the information. I honestly do.